Thank you for inviting me to participate today, and thank you to Children in Screens and Dr. Pamela Hurst Della Pietra for hosting this incredibly important conference. We see it all the time. It's the bottom of the ninth at Fenway Park, and Mookie Betts is up to bat. You look around, and all the young people have their faces in their phones. They're missing the moment because they're totally hooked on their devices. For kids today, the internet is almost like oxygen. They simply can't live without it. Of course, we know that in the 21st century story, technology isn't necessarily the hero or the villain. There is a Dickensian quality to the internet. It is the best of wires and the worst of wires simultaneously. It can ennoble, it can enrich, it can enable, or it can degrade and debase. It's all there simultaneously. The first rule for technology, of course, must be to do no harm, especially for kids. And we have a lot to learn about how technology affects children. That's why I introduced the Children in Media Research Advancement, or CAMERA Act, and I've partnered with Democrat and Republican Senators Sass, Blunt, Collins, Schatz, and Bennett on this legislation, because the legislation has to be bipartisan and has to be bicameral. And the bill will commission a 5-year, $95 million research initiative at the National Institutes of Health to examine the impact of technology and media on children. This bill will help produce research that sheds light on the cognitive, physical, and socio-emotional impacts of technology on kids. When kids scroll through Instagram, their brains are stimulated. What's happening to their attention and critical thinking skills? Well, we can't afford to be in the dark on these crucial questions. We also have to understand the physical consequences of kids' tech use. Parents and policymakers alike need robust research illuminating the ways that technology may influence children's sleeping, eating, and exercise. And last, my bill calls for research into the socio-emotional consequences of children's tech use. How do mobile devices impact kids' relationships, decision-making, and social awareness? Is there a connection between internet use and anxiety, addiction, or even suicidal thoughts? We need answers to these questions, and we need these answers now. Ultimately, I believe that kids today should have the right to develop, the right to grow up and become healthy adults, and the right to make mistakes. I thank Children in Screens for supporting the CAMERA Act, and I thank you all for your dedication to protecting children and teenagers across the country. This issue has to have more focus placed upon it. This issue demands more answers. Thank all of you for everything you're doing to ensure that parents all across our country get those answers. Thank you.